For those of you who were at the scientific meeting this morning at the think tank, I apologize for the repetition, but you know, my story's my story, so here it comes again. My goal this evening is to deliver a compelling patient perspective of survival. It's my hope that you could perhaps apply some of these messages into your own lives and in the lives of your loved ones. My journey is interesting because it spans 31 years and straddles a traditional diagnosis and treatment of a common cancer, and then many years later, a rare cancer whose treatment was selected using a modern approach. It started in Montreal in 1991 when I was 21, 3 years after my brother passed away suddenly in a car accident. I noticed a swelling above my left clavicle. A chest x-ray was done, and a mass was found in my chest. The biopsy was done, and it came back as Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was young, scared, worried sick about my parents and the impact on them. So before I was able to bring it forward, I needed to counterbalance the news with information on treatment options and survival outcomes. So I embarked on my research project as a 21-year-old, just being told that he has cancer and doing this on his own. I marched downstairs in my parents' basement, went to the encyclopedia wall, got the volume H, and looked up Hodgkin's disease, and learned about it. Even though the information was printed probably 12 years earlier, I still had the opportunity of learning about it. I bought a book called Hodgkin's Disease, The Consequences of Survival. And keep that title in mind for a couple of minutes here. I learned all I could. I told my family that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, that it's a treatable disease, and maybe even curable. I started out to be a model patient. I wanted to be the best patient I can be. So I was staged. I got staged as 2A, which meant either chemo or radiation, and my doctors decided that it would be 2 months of radiation. Not fun. I had no idea what my future was going to look like. It was very uncertain. So I decided to fast track my life, completed my undergraduate degree, and went directly into the marketing and communications industry. I got married, had 2 beautiful kids, got divorced as part of my full service life, got into the best shape of my life, even ran a half marathon once, and I was feeling really good about my survival of Hodgkin's. Fast forward to April of 2013, I'm now 43. I meet the love of my life, Cynthia, and 3 weeks later on a training run, I had a heart attack, and it was not her fault. The consequence of radiation 22 years earlier meant that I now had radiation-induced heart disease. I needed 2 cardiac stents. Fast forward to 2016, and I noticed a lump on my right neck. Needed surgery, and it was revealed that I had stage 4 salivary duct carcinoma. This is a very rare and aggressive cancer that moves swiftly to achieve its goal to survive. 80% of people die within the first 3 to 5 years. This tumor was also a direct consequence from the radiation 25 years earlier. The cure of my lymphoma was now my death sentence. As an attempt to take care of my cancer that may have been outside the surgical field, it was advised that we at least attempt radiation therapy. So there I was again on the radiation table. 3 months after the radiation treatment, a follow-up CT revealed lymph node swelling in my chest. The cancer was now metastatic. The grim reality of this rare cancer was slowly taking form. I bought into the negativity of those overwhelming negative stats. I failed to see the hope in the 20% of people who didn't die, but Cynthia didn't. She kept reminding me that I could be part of the 20% of people who did live. She showered me with endless supply of positivity. However, the hospital had to do a job, and the process needed to unfold. The standard of care at this stage is usually found within the palliative setting, and I was referred to the palliative service. I couldn't bring myself to talk about the end of my life at the age of 47. Something needed to be done. Cynthia and I knew that any success at extending my life would need to be found outside of palliative services. So we got to work on research. Unlike in 1991, we had access to current information, and we were going to use that information to our advantage. We undertook to learn as much as we could about salivary duct carcinoma and what was driving the growth in my body. The first thing we did was action comprehensive genomic sequencing of the tumor. Our goal was to identify features of the tumor's biology that may have some therapeutic value. We were looking for anything that could extend my life. We were desperate. So we became pseudo-experts at deciphering difficult to understand medical jargon. One common feature of salivary duct carcinoma is its high rate of androgen receptor positivity. And we noted that my tumor was indeed androgen receptor positive. We had read out a few cases from various corners of the world that had a great deal of success targeting the androgen receptor. So when Foundation Medicine published my next generation sequencing report, we carefully considered the options and landed on 3 conclusions. 1, I was going to refuse the standard chemo for the simple reason because it showed no benefit over doing nothing at all. 2, immunotherapy was not an option. And 3, any solution to address this androgen receptor feature of my tumor needed to be done. So we made a treatment decision to cut off the supply of androgens fueling my tumor's growth, and androgen deprivation therapy was started. 6 months later, the tumors were reduced to unmeasurable levels, and I began to realize that maybe I was going to outlive the stats. That Cynthia's point of view that I could be the 1 in 5 was perhaps becoming a reality. So, where did that bring me? Today, I'm 6 years cancer-free, and I'm alive, and I'm kicking. I watched my son graduate from high school at the beginning of this month. I watched my daughter's live theater performance over the summer, which is her passion. I love the fact that my hair is getting whiter. I love getting old. That's my goal. I've been invited to do a few podcasts, and I promised myself that if I lived 5 years, I'd write a book and share what I did, how I did it, and how I can help other people. So why were we successful? It's partly to do with the fact that Cynthia and I had the drive to advocate for ourselves. Not for me, not for us, but for our families. Not everyone knows how to be an advocate. And even if they do, they may not have the emotional or physical energy to do it. It's hard enough to have a mainstream cancer, but with a rare cancer, the emotional impact is dramatically amplified because of the lack of research, treatment options, and trials. And that's where TargetCancer Foundation comes in. When a rare cancer victim feels that they have been let down by research and feels that dreaded emptiness, that abandonment, TargetCancer Foundation fills the void with hope. Real, palpable hope found in world-class and innovative approaches to research and patient support. I may be the face of a rare terminal cancer survivor, and I may have an interesting story to tell, but I'm just one of many. The important message is that even when you think there's no hope, there is. But it's more than that. It's about who receives those messages and when. That's one of the key reasons why I wrote On the Other Side of Terminal. I needed to cast a wider net of hope and reach as many people as I could. That's why I dedicated a chapter to rare cancer. I can't describe the feeling of profound satisfaction when a reader reaches out after reading my book and shares their rare cancer story back with me. It fills me with such deep emotional satisfaction to know that I really am making a difference. There are good people going through really difficult situations that I know all too well. People like Matt and Alexa, who read the book and reached out to me because Alexa is ill with a very aggressive form of esophageal cancer. So I told Matt about TargetCancer Foundation and the importance of their work, and within 1 hour, he booked his travel to Boston, and he's here with us this evening. As a matter of fact, he's been with us here all day. He wants to better understand. He needs to better understand how Alexa could be brought into remission. Like so many people, Matt and Alexa are looking for answers to treat difficult cancers. And many of those answers are now or will soon be available in part due to the effort of what TargetCancer is doing. I wish I knew about TargetCancer Foundation in 2016. As a victim of a rare cancer, I feel at home. I feel that I'm right where I belong. Earlier this month, I was diagnosed with the recurrence of my salivary duct carcinoma. As I speak, my new Foundation Medicine test requisitions are being processed. The good news is that they only see one spot on my lung, and they think that it's an isolated metastasis. So I'm probably looking at some thoracic surgery, and then we'll go from there, and then remission 2.0 is the next stop. I have a lot more confidence now as compared to 2016 because I have a deeper insight into the precision medicine process. I'm also confident because I hear that there's a pretty good book out there, and I think I'm going to listen to his advice. So, to conclude with some thoughts and some observations. Is that for me? For rare cancer victims, information is everything. Most people with mainstream cancers, like I had in 1991, have the advantage of leveraging information that is available. The value of comprehensive genomic sequencing in ecology is increasing exponentially. As a matter of fact, today's think tank left me with even more confidence. What I saw today, this morning, was straight up passion. Passion from these incredible scientists, pathologists, geneticists, medical oncologists, and patient advocates. These people are brilliant, and they are making a difference in patient survival. It's clear to me, to all of us, that precision medicine is the future, and the future of oncology is in very capable hands. This is all going in the right direction, all of it. The problem, however, is that not enough people know about precision medicine. And there's a lack of equitable cancer research funding at all levels of government. That's a big issue. But TargetCancer Foundation is leading the charge on behalf of rare cancer victims and their families. They're also using their influence to expose long-standing vulnerabilities within rare cancer communities to the general public, and I think that's great. And I can't stand here in this room and not talk about Paul's contribution. I mean, we're standing here because of Paul and his vision. I never met him, but I know enough to know that he was clearly a leader. I know that Kristen, Jim, and your families miss him dearly, and I'm so sorry for your enduring loss. I know he's watching from above and proud of how his legacy is being honored. I ask you to all please keep up this excellent work and keep supporting TCF and the rare cancer community in any way that you can. I will help as much as I can until I can't. So let's live, love, and keep going. Thank you.